Oh, sorry. I accidentally hit my desk. Welcome back. This is the Week 12 recap. This is Thanksgiving break. I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. And now we are going to get down to business. So we had 3 Thanksgiving games this week, and every single team played. And so starting off this Thanksgiving break, it was the Bills at the Lions. And when I tell you I nearly had a heart attack while I was at work, I nearly had a heart attack while I was at work, dude. I was going out, I was watching bits and pieces of the game, even on my lunch, even like towards the end of my shift. Like, I was having a heart attack all the way through, and I was about to be super duper depressed. But, despite all the injuries, despite, the super short week, having to travel multiple times in, a span of, 5 days. They had, 4 plane rides in 5 days. They had to go to Detroit to play the Browns, come back home to prepare for the Lions, then they had to go back to Detroit, and now they got to come back to Buffalo. With the snow, with the cold, with the injuries, Von Miller, Allen's UCL tear, he's still playing through it. Greg Rousseau being out, despite all the BS, the Bills found a way to win against a red-hot Lions team, who, they're 4-7. Their record doesn't show that they're good, but, they're getting better, and they're a good team. Next up, we got the Giants at the Cowboys, and this was kind of not what I expected it to be. All the games were relatively close. I kind of had Dallas winning by a lot more than what they won by, but they still won, and that's the important thing in the end. Giants, without Saquon Barkley, still look just not great. But overall, it was a good game, and the Cowboys continue to show that they are an NFC favorite. Speaking of NFC teams, we got the Vikings, who hosted another AFC East team, and that would be the New England Patriots. For the Patriots, their offense came to life, and for the Vikings and their defense, New England's, not so much. Vikings offense came alive. Defense made plays when it needed it most, although the Vikings may or may not have gotten bailed out on that Hunter Henry drop. It was supposed to be his second touchdown of the game, but they called it back. I don't know. I saw the little bit of the ball. There was a little tip of the ball, if any. He had his hand under the ball for the most part, but if there was any part of the ball that hit the ground, it was just so small and so insignificant, kind of like my wiener. I don't know, man. I can't really, as much as I dislike the Patriots, I can't say that I wouldn't have been super upset if that was ruled a touchdown, because he had most of his hand under it. He had his hand under it. So I don't know, man. There was I think there was a little bit of the ball that hit the ground. I don't know, man. It's a very controversial call, but I think even with that touchdown, that extra 4 points, because they ended up getting a field goal on that drive, they still would have ended up losing by 3 points. So I don't think it would have necessarily mattered, because it ultimately would have ended at a kickoff anyways. So Vikings won that game, but the Patriots looked really solid, despite not having a true wide receiver one. But the Patriots still look good nonetheless in the loss. Next up, we got the Bengals at the Titans. And if you saw, I changed my picks for this game. I said the Bengals are going to win originally, and then I switched to the Titans after hearing Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon were out. And then after hearing Justin Fields was out, I switched my pick to the Jets. And it ultimately didn't matter, because I went 1-1 in those picks. Bengals ended up taking the win. It was kind of a low-scoring game, I think. It's a pretty low-scoring game. Derrick Henry didn't get into the end zone for a touchdown. But overall, the Bengals, despite the injuries, got the job done against a good Titans team. We're not even going to talk about Texans-Dolphins. This is just about what I expected and what a lot of people expected too, although I kind of thought Miami would win by a lot more. They were up 30-0, and they benched their starters and put in their backup, so can't really be mad at that. Good one overall for Miami. Next up, we got the Ravens at the Jaguars. This one kind of shocked me a little bit. The Ravens have been choking a lot of second-half stuff, so mainly fourth quarter, but still. Jaguars found a way to win on a catch that definitely wasn't a touchdown. That was not a touchdown. He only had 1 foot in. They said his shin hit. I don't know what you have to do in order to catch a ball in the NFL other than get 2 feet in. Apparently, one knee counts as 2 feet. Does one shin count as 2 feet? What the hell? That was a horrible call. That was not a touchdown, in my opinion. The Jaguars play the final one to Zay Jones. That was not a touchdown. I don't think it was a touchdown. I'm sure by the rules I'm wrong, but it just didn't look like a touchdown. He only got 1 foot in. Next up, we got the Bears at the Jets. We'll get to this in a little bit. It was the Monday night game. Fields was not in, so Trevor Siemian had to take over, and I don't remember. I think Nathan Peterman got to play a little bit, but it was a battle of Mike White and Trevor Siemian, and Mike White torched the Bears, and now all of a sudden, Mike White is now just like, oh, he's the starter for the Jets. Zach Wilson shouldn't touch the field. This is the same thing last year, dude. Mike White had one good game, and everyone was like, oh, Mike White is a beast. But then when he went to play the Bills, he threw 4 interceptions. I think the same thing is going to happen here. He had a good game against the Bears. He'll have somewhat of a solid game against the Vikings, and he's going to bomb against the Bills. Von Miller or not, Mike White is going to tank against the Bills. It's going to be the same thing. He did it last year. He's going to do it again this year. It's still the same goddamn Jets. I don't know how we lost this team. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that the Jets are doing solid right now. They're 7-4, a game behind us. I'm kind of happy for the Jets. But at the same time, it's like you don't need to overhype Mike White. I feel like now he's going to start becoming overhyped, and then when he falls, they're like, oh, should we go back to Zach Wilson? Should we go back to Zach Wilson, guys? Should the Jets go to Zach Wilson? No, like it's the same thing. They do this every year. They do this oh my god. They did the same thing with Sam Darnold. Like, I saw a video of someone saying, like, you know, Sam Darnold, he's gonna have a good game against the Broncos, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, Sam Darnold's doing good. Should they start with Sam Darnold? Then he's gonna tank the very next game. Though I think Carolina's on a bye week this week. Denver just sucks. Like, their offense is butt cheeks. Their defense can only hold them for so long. Like, the offense has to start putting up points. Like, Broncos country has to start riding into the end zone and not riding their way to the bench. Like, what is wrong with you, Denver? What is wrong with you? A lot of things, actually. Nathaniel Hackett needs to go. And speaking of coaches that need to go, I was about to say something about Josh McDaniels, but he's won 2 straight games in overtime. One against the Broncos and now another against the Seahawks. Carr led the game-winning drive against the Broncos, and Josh Jacobs ran for 86 yards, the game-winning touchdown against the Seahawks. Both teams looked solid. We know the Seahawks look solid, but the Raiders, I don't know. I don't know what to think of the Raiders, dude. I really don't. At one moment, I thought they sucked, and that they were so bad, like, they should be playing in the XFL. But now, it's like they're playing good, I guess. Like, that's what happens when you get the ball to Jacobs. I think he had more than, like, 300 all-purpose yards or something like that. 2 touchdowns. He blew up in fantasy. Like, I don't have him in any of my leagues, unfortunately. But he blew up. Like, every league that I was in, I saw Jacobs getting a crap ton of points. I was like, Jesus! But, yeah, good win for the Raiders overall. Seahawks, they played well, but not well enough to win, evidently. And we'll go to the game that I skipped. Buccaneers at the Browns. The Browns pulled out a win, kind of an upset against the Buccaneers. Jacoby Brissett threw a 4th down touchdown to David Njoku, and now with the massage rapist coming in, I wonder how the Browns are going to do for the rest of the season. Sorry, Brissett, you do not deserve this. Next up, we got the Chargers at the Cardinals. Now, I saw the end of this one. Chargers ended up getting a 2-point conversion for the win. This was too close for my liking. It should not have been that close. The Chargers are they're a much better team than Arizona. I don't like the Cardinals. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love D-Hop. I love, like, JJ. I love Isaiah Simmons. I respect those players. Kyler Murray, I have a level of respect for. But, like, I do not like the Cardinals. I do not think they're a playoff team. I do not think they are as good as the Chargers. And I don't think the game should have been this close. Chargers should have honestly just ran away with it. But, again, granted, they have injuries, but still, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't like the Cardinals. Next up, we got the Rams at the Chiefs. And now this was a pretty dull game, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, they won by 2 scores, but the Rams defense held their own against Mahomes and the offense. It was just the Rams offense being incompetent and not being able to put up points. Honestly, I think if at least Cooper Kupp was in there, I think they could have been able to do something, but they definitely wouldn't have won. I think even with Stafford and Kupp in there, they would not have beaten the Kansas City the Chiefs, who still sit as the #1 team in the AFC. And next up, we're going to go to the Falcons at the Commanders. Now, the Falcons, I mean, they know how to keep games close, but unfortunately, sometimes they just don't know how to win. And yet, they're only half a game back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Only half a game back. Meanwhile, for the Commanders, they just continue to find ways to win. Their defense continues to look good. The offense put up enough to win, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Next up, we got the Saints at the 49ers. I mean, where did the Saints offense go? Did they get stuck at the airport or something? Like, what happened? Did the offense, like, jump out of a plane? Like, what were they doing? It was almost non-existent. I mean, they got into the red zone a couple times, but they fumbled so much. But, I mean, that's kind of a credit to the Niners defense, who's been very solid all season. They've dealt with injuries as well all season, but they've battled through it. The offense did not do particularly great, but, again, New Orleans also has a good defense, so there you go. The 49ers, they struggled this week, and they're going to have to do a lot better offensively if they want a chance to beat the Miami Dolphins. Defensively, I think they can make play. Defensively, I know the Niners can make plays. But it's going to come down to how many points the Niners can score, in my opinion. Next up, we got the Packers at the Eagles. And now this one, I don't know. After I made the picks, I had a feeling this would be close. Like, closer than it probably would have been. Like, should have been. And, you know, like, I was not wrong. The Packers, they actually did not look bad. Rodgers started out playing pretty solid, and then Jordan Love came in and threw a nice pass to Watson, who just took it to the house. Right into the casa. But Jalen Hurts getting over 150 yards passing and over 150 yards rushing dominated the Packers in all aspects. Their offense just flipped the Packers defense over and just started going to town on them. You know what I'm saying? The Eagles defense, they made plays despite the fact that C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I think I said his name right, Gardner-Johnson left with an injury. And then Aaron Rodgers threw picked a Blankenship on one drive. I know that. But at the end of the day, the Eagles, once again, they found a way to win. They got a win at home after losing their last home game to the Foreskins. So, there you go. Eagles won 40-33. Good win overall. And here, the Steelers just continue to prove that they're Indianapolis's daddy. But no, the Steelers defensively overall were solid. I mean, third quarter, not really. They had a 16-3 lead at one point and then blew that. But then the Steelers, they marched down the field, got a touchdown drive, and Kenny Pickett, he continues to look good. He continues to look solid. He's a rookie, but like he has promise. He's got potential. He's got promise. I think Kenny Pickett can be a pretty solid QB in this league. You know, despite the fact that he's got small hands, kind of like me. But no, I feel like overall the Steelers are, you know. I'm not going to say they're a solid team. Right now, they're 4-7 like the Cleveland Browns. And for the Colts, their struggles just continue to keep going. I think I actually did pick the Steelers this week. I think the games that I got wrong, I got all the Thanksgiving games right, so that's good. I got all the NFC matchups right. I got this matchup wrong. I think I picked the Broncos. I was a little too high on them. I picked the Buccaneers to win this game. I picked the Seahawks to win this game. Over here, I originally picked the Bengals, and I switched to the Titans. Just like over here, I was originally for the Bears, and then I switched to the Jets. And then this was the game I got wrong. So, but honestly, I'm not upset because like all of them were like within one score. Well, not this one. The Panthers owned the Broncos from start to finish, but there you go. So that's it for my Week 12 recap. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This NFL season is just coming down to the wire. We are getting closer and closer to the end of the season each and every single day, each and every single week, each and every single game. So with that being said, you guys, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe if you're new, and click that notification bell to get all the latest news on all my latest content. Also, one quick thing. I saw Tre'Davious White. He was there for like 15, 16 snaps of the Lions game. Hopefully he gets to play more against the Patriots on Thursday night. But yeah, and Von Miller, he also left with an injury. I think I said that already. But yeah, with that being said, you guys, I'm going to stop right here. And with that being said, I'll see you guys for my picks on Thursday.